Last July, one gardener was seconds away from ripping out all 6 of her pepper plants. Yellow leaves, aphids crawling everywhere, barely a pepper in sight. She was ready to quit growing peppers for good. She changed just one thing. 3 weeks later, those same plants looked completely different. Dozens of peppers, no bug damage anywhere, and she hadn't touched her soil, her watering, or moved a single plant. And as she added, one new neighbor. Not some rare plant you've never heard of, it's probably sitting in your kitchen right now. Here's what makes it different from every other companion plant tip you've heard. It pulls in beneficial insects, confuses the pests, and quietly improves the soil around your peppers. After studying peppers for decades, Dave DeWitt, the man they call the Pope of Peppers, noticed something almost every home gardener overlooks. Wild peppers never grew alone. Not once. They always shared space with other plants. Our backyard peppers don't get that anymore. I'm about to show you exactly what this plant is and exactly where it goes. Because planting it just 2 feet away instead of 6 inches can be the difference between a few peppers and the biggest harvest you've ever had. Most pepper gardens are designed to look neat. Ironically, that's often the first mistake. Every spring, gardens across America fill with perfectly spaced rows of peppers. Straight lines, equal spacing, everything looks exactly as it should. But that's not how peppers grow in nature, not even close. In a moment, I'll show you 2 pepper beds planted just a few feet apart. One needed insect spray all summer. The other barely had a chewed leaf. Here's part of why. A diverse planting brings in beneficial insects, supports healthier soil life, and makes it harder for pests to take over. A pepper plant standing completely alone just doesn't get any of that backup. That's why so many gardeners from Texas to Tennessee tell the same story. Strong start in May, healthy little seedlings, then July hits, and the whole plant just stalls. Leaves curl, growth slows down. Maybe a pepper or two, but nothing like what the seed packet promised. Pepper expert Dave DeWitt has spent decades studying peppers, and one thing stands out. Wild peppers rarely grow in isolation. The soil, the insects, the neighboring roots, they all work together. Researchers and experienced growers have noticed the same pattern for years, in places dealing with tough conditions like Arizona and Nevada. The gardens that struggled almost always had one thing in common. They were growing alone. So if your peppers have been small, slow, or just disappointing, it's not bad luck. It's not a bad growing season. It's one missing piece that almost nobody talks about. And that piece is exactly what we're about to fix. So here's the plant. It's basil. Not exotic, not expensive. You probably got a pot of it in your kitchen window right now. Or you've seen it stacked at the grocery store for $2 a bunch. But before you plant it next to your peppers, you need to hear how one gardener got it wrong first. She planted basil the first time right up against the stem, practically touching. Figured closer meant better. Within 2 weeks, both plants were fighting for the same patch of soil. The basil got lucky. The peppers barely noticed it was there. No pest relief, no growth boost, nothing. That's the mistake almost everyone makes. They think companion planting means closer is better. It's not about proximity. It's about spacing done right. Here's what actually works. Give both plants enough space to mature instead of crowding them. Depending on the variety, that usually means around a foot or so between them, not pressed right against the stem. At that distance, basil's strong aroma may make it harder for some pests to locate peppers in the first place. Many gardeners report noticeably fewer aphids once basil is growing nearby. And there's a second benefit almost nobody mentions. Basil flowers pull in hoverflies, tiny insects most gardeners never notice, but their larvae happen to be some of the best natural predators of aphids in the whole garden. So, while you're just watching 2 plants grow side by side, underneath the surface, an entire tiny ecosystem is doing pest control for you, for free. Now, here's the part that surprised even the gardener who almost gave up back in the spring. Once she gave her basil the right amount of room, her pepper plants didn't just survive the rest of the season. By August, she had more peppers than she had jars to can them in. But here's the thing, one basil plant isn't actually the best setup.
There's a specific way to arrange basil around a pepper bed that works even better than a single plant off to the side. Something growers in states like Utah and Idaho have been quietly using for years. I'll show you exactly how to lay it out, plus the real numbers, how many pepper plants, how much basil, and what it actually costs to set up a bed like this. Alright, here's exactly how to set this up in your own garden bed. For one common layout, a 4 by 8 foot raised bed, you might plant 4 peppers spaced about 18 inches apart down the middle, with one basil seedling near each pepper, roughly a foot away and toward the sunny side so it doesn't shade the pepper out. That's one example layout, and here's the cost because this isn't some expensive setup. A basil 6-pack at most garden centers runs about $4. One 6-pack easily covers a bed that size with plants left over. Total added cost for the whole bed? Under $5. Timing matters too. Plant your basil once the danger of frost has passed and nighttime temperatures stay consistently above 50 degrees. Depending on where you live, that could be anywhere from spring into early summer. Folks in warmer states like Texas or South Carolina will get there sooner than gardeners further north. Water them both the same way. Basil and peppers actually like similar conditions. Regular moisture, well-drained soil, nothing fancy. Now here's what gardeners keep reporting after a season of doing this right. By late summer, many say the difference is obvious before they even start picking. Plants stay greener, branches carry more peppers, and the leaves often show far less pest damage. Exactly how much bigger the harvest gets depends on your variety, your weather, and how the whole season goes. But that pattern shows up again and again, backyard after backyard. Here's the small detail that turns a good companion planting into a great one. Let a few basil plants flower instead of pinching every bloom off. Gardeners often trim basil hard to keep it bushy for cooking, but those flowers are exactly what pulls in the hoverflies we talked about earlier. Leave 2 or 3 plants to flower and harvest the rest for your kitchen. So for under $5 and about 20 minutes of extra planting time, you're looking at a healthier, more resilient garden that usually needs less babying to get through the summer. Remember the gardener who almost ripped out all 6 of her pepper plants? She didn't need better luck, she just needed the right neighbor. Now before we wrap up, one quick myth to bust. Basil isn't a magic fix. It won't save a pepper plant that's sitting in bad soil, getting no sun, or drowning in too much water. Companion planting works best as part of an overall healthy garden, not a replacement for the basics. And here's a mistake worth avoiding while we're at it. Don't plant basil and then forget about it. It still needs occasional trimming or it'll get leggy and stop producing those flowers your hoverflies actually want. A few minutes every couple weeks is all it takes. Alright, if you remember only 3 things from this video, make them these. 1. Peppers don't do well growing alone. They never did, not even in the wild. 2. Basil works best about a foot away, not crowded right up against the stem. 3. Let a few basil plants flower. That's what actually pulls in the good bugs. That's it. No fancy fertilizer, no special equipment, just a $4 6-pack of basil and about 20 minutes with a trowel. Picture your garden bed a few months from now. Peppers hanging heavy on the branch. Basil flowering right alongside them, humming with hoverflies doing pest control for free. That's the kind of healthy, resilient garden many growers are aiming for when they design their beds around how plants naturally grow together. Remember the gardener who was seconds away from pulling out all 6 pepper plants? She didn't need a miracle. She just needed to stop growing peppers alone. If you're already growing peppers this season, try this on just one plant first. See the difference for yourself before you commit the whole bed. That's honestly the best way to trust it. If you enjoy practical, research-backed gardening that you can actually use in your own backyard, subscribe. That's exactly what we make every week. Basil is only the beginning. There's another companion plant that affects something completely different, not pests, but fruit production later in the season, when most plants are already slowing down. I'll show you exactly what it is and how to use it in the next video. Until then, happy planting.